All right, we're started.
Great.
Houston,
Hello.
we have squirrel.
Jay, you are so brown. Look at your head.
I
Oh
am
my God.
I am mostly African. So
Wait, put your head over. Let me see it. Your forehead,
Yes.
though, is like, wow.
Looks like an
He's
extra from
brown.
Lawrence of Arabia.
that's me.
You
I'm
need
T.S. Eliot.
you need the chic robes, and you could totally pass.
I would love a scimitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say Allah Akbar.
Allah, Aloha Snackbar. Oh, actually, it's super visible because I like never take my watch off.
It's
Yeah.
not that visible.
Okay,
Wait,
I
I
guess
have
it's
one
not.
too.
I guess it's not that.
I have one
noticeable.
too. Oh, no, it's noticeable, Jay. It is.
Yeah.
Here's mine.
Yes.
Look.
Yep.
It's there, I swear.
Brita got a tan this summer because she wasn't stuck in the library
did.
all day.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Imagine the things you can do when you don't have to usher porn hobos out. Oh,
Oh my God. So the other day I was just regretting my choice about quitting my job. You know, I was
Always
kind
a
of like doing the
mistake.
garden. I was doing housework. I was, saying to myself, Frida, you had a job. Now you have to go find a different job. Like, ugh. And then my friend who still works at the library texted me. And she said that there's a mentally disabled man who comes into the library with his mother. And that's fine, that's fine. And however, he screams the entire time. Also fine. You can deal with shit, to a point. But sometimes they stay for like 4 hours. But on this certain day, my friend said, oh my God, he just went into the bathroom and the entire place is covered with diarrhea. And the entire library smells like shit. And the maintenance man is not here today. And at that point I said, maybe I made the right choice.
And suddenly you remembered.
all of a sudden the garden
Suddenly-
looked pretty damn good.
Yeah. Suddenly,
Yeah.
like, LinkedIn looked pretty good. Like, doing a cover letter looked pretty good. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Does the art museum need a new
Yeah.
director?
Man. I at this point, like, and I know this just sounds terrible, but because I'm, college educated, I'm a smart girl, I just want a job where I can go and do work and go home and get a paycheck and not think about.
Brita, do you know what you need to do?
What?
You need to
What?
get a job at the local gun store. And every time a man comes in asking to buy a gun, sell him a snub-nosed 38.
I know it'd be perfect for you.
You know what'd be perfect for you?
Oh, Jay.
This little number right here.
Only
Jay,
real
you're
man can
diabolical.
fire this gun.
No.
That's right.
Those Glocks, they're too complicated. Don't worry your pretty little head. This is all you need.
Bonus points if
Yep.
it's got pink grips.
Blue grips. You'll have to get one with blue grips.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
blue
yeah.
for boys.
I bet you could do that.
So
And
guns.
have a camera.
Okay.
Just flash forward 2 months. Sales associate of the year. Poof.
Hey.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Good thing nothing else is going on, right?
Nope.
Nothing,
We haven't.
man.
So I'm hearing that
I've got my
this,
first tomatoes in this week.
Oh, what type?
Oh, you have not heard the saga of the tomatoes.
This is a good story.
Well, it's not a good story. It's a
Tell the
Okay.
story, Brita.
so. Well, all right. Okay, I've got stories. So I started most of my tomatoes with, from seeds, and I've been like nurturing them from little baby plants, and now they're all like taller than I am and making tomatoes, and it's all very exciting. And I have plans for sauce and all sorts of stuff. And I was waiting on that first tomato to get ripe. And the next morning I go out and I find the tomato taken off the tomato plant. And a big hole chipmunks.
Did you channel your inner
Chipmunks.
Scrooge McDuck? Or who is it? Donald Duck. Who is it that fights Chip and
Was it?
Dale all the time? It was Donald Duck. I can't remember.
Donald Duck?
Who was it that fights
Huh.
Chip and Dale?
I don't recall. Anyway, so now we're murdering chipmunks in the backyard with the bucket. Have you
It
tried
is
the bucket
Donald
method?
You put like peanut butter in the bottom, or peanut butter on a
No,
little thing floating in
You
water.
have a 5-gallon bucket. Yeah. 5-gallon bucket, fill it 2/3 of the way full. Float sunflower seeds on the water. And then have a little ramp. Like a wood thing. Little ramp. And you put seeds on the ramp and they scurry up. And then they
They plunge into the bucket, never to be seen again.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you make like chipmunk puree or?
No, Mike just he either throws them behind the garage or dumps them down the storm drain.
Well, there's probably a bunch down there anyway, so they're biodegradable. Sure. They're a renewable resource. You should put them in your furnace.
They are. Oh my God.
My house is heated by chipmunks.
They are beastly little things. They are really horrid creatures. I've fought them before, and they're
tougher than they
Put up
look.
your dukes.
They also get into everything. They're like when I was in Scouts, we used to call them mini bears because they get into everything, just like a bear would. You had to, if you were in chipmunk, if you were camping in chipmunk territory, you had to take the exact same precautions with food that you did with bears. You had to put it, like hang it from in a bag up in a tree or something, because the little fuckers would get into everything.
Yes, but unlike bears, you can get rid of a chipmunk with a golf club. Just follow through. Keep your head down and follow through.
You can get rid of a bear with a golf club too if you whack it hard enough.
I'll take my chances with the chipmunks. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story. Those are my stories for this week.
Yeah, but you have to tell where you got the bucket idea from.
Oh, my former next door neighbor, she has now passed. Ruth. Ruth was a life kind of lady, kind of rough and tumble, kind of outdoorsy lady. And for the longest time, like every summer I'd see a bucket and a board outside her back door. And I'm like, what's that? And don't look in the bucket. Just
So you said she passed, Rita?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's sad.
So now it's my job. I have to.
And now you're ruthless.
The torch has
passed.
passed.
Yes.
The chipmunk killing torch has passed.
Yes, the chipmunk plank, if you will. So you're making chipmunks walk the plank. So you're basically a pirate.
We are. It's an amputee joke.
It's a walk the plank joke. Jeez.
That was totally unintentional too.
Yeah, I know, but it was good. Yeah, we got 5 chipmunks in one day, and then it was like all was quiet, and the tomatoes were safe, and like everything was 5 one day.
Dang.
And we thought it was 3, and then Mike went to go dump out the bucket, and there was 2.
Eventually, there'll be so many chipmunks. There'll just be one standing on top, eating the seeds, going, ha ha.
Yeah, and everything was quiet, and the tomatoes have been fine. But just today, I went out and I found a chewed up tomato, And I took a picture of it and I sent it to Mike and I said, get the bucket.
Get the bucket.
Mike's my hitman. So
you know what, you hold it in reserve, but one day you can say, we're going to need a bigger bucket.
Yeah.
So what we definitely do not want is to be on Brita's bucket list.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's the best one ever, Jay.
Yeah.
You get
Jay,
bonus
Jay
points
wins.
for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, you totally
do I get an extra dad joke for that one?
Yeah.
You totally do. That was great.
I'm just gonna put that little reserve. Hang it up on the hook behind me. I'm gonna save this for later.
Yep. Gold star.
I'm just like, how can we integrate bucket into the pantheon of bad jokes?
Well, you got it.
So chipmunks are no more. Chipmunk be gone. It's just a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, it only seems to work on chipmunks.
What else do you want to?
I guess the same sort of thing works on mice.
I think mice also, but squirrels are they're able to like steal. We've been having the trouble with this one squirrel we have out. Anyway, she steals all the seeds. So I catch her and she's like standing on the rim of the bucket and she's like scooping out the little seeds.
I get squirrels are larger, so they probably have the
even if they fall in, they can jump out again. Yeah,
I think they're smarter too. So,
well, they are that.
Anyway,
all right.
They're not
resistant. If anybody has any tips,
though,
join us on MeWe and tell me your chipmunk.
Yeah, apparently the cayenne pepper doesn't work with chipmunks.
No.
They don't care.
What if you pepper spray them?
Ooh, bear spray.
It might work. Bear spray. Mini bear spray.
With a lighter.
Oh, yeah. Then you'd have flaming chipmunks running through the yard.
I saw flaming chipmunks open for the Clash.
Oh, man. All right. We've been gone too long.
Jay is the only reason I say on this show. I just want to say that right now.
Oh. Hi, Alan.
I can always count on you. Make me laugh. You're okay, Alan.
That's what I do.
I wanted to mention the gun buyback that we recently had. So, and they spent a shitload of money on this thing. The stupid Mayor Turner.
Yeah.
So they had a gun buyback. They never owned them in the first place, so I don't know why it's buyback. But anyway, so some dude showed up, and it's anonymous, no questions asked, and they give you basically cash, right? And so some guy shows up with a box full of 3D printed guns that and the city gave him 3,000. It was he made 62 3D printed guns, and they gave him a check for $3,100. The guns, he said the cost to make them was $3 a piece.
Oh shit.
So he netted a profit of $47 per weapon.
Per gun. Oh my God.
Wow.
Now that's funny. I've seen that story, and somebody was saying, the plastic, depending on how, how detailed you got in the printing, might run you as high as $10. So he must have done the bare minimum, which is all you need to do. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That probably paid for his 3D printer and all the filament he used.
Oh yes. It gets better than that though, Jay.
Oh God.
It gets so much better than that. Because they did that, Houston has banned ghost guns from future buyback events.
Yeah,
I
bet they did.
Hysterical. And that, kids.
So I can only
that's
imagine.
why.
I can only imagine. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I can only imagine this guy found out about the buyback.
If anybody involved in that,
how many can I print?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody involved in that had known anything about firearms, it'd be like, yeah, no, these are squirt guns. These aren't even squirt guns. So I'm sorry, Rita.
I think they were actually.
No, I was just thinking. I have a big delay. I'm just gonna hang up.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
No.
We're gonna devolve into car talk. I'm warning you. It's gonna.
There's a big delay.
40 boring
okay.
minutes of Jay and Alan jarring about cars.
It's okay. We can deal with the delay. Go ahead.
I don't have anything to say.
Oh.
I thought you were saying something about the buyback and the ghost guns. They're ghost guns.
You're good.
Well, anyway, I thought it was funny. This guy gamed the system, made the money, and then the city says, because ghost guns are the big boogeyman now, and the city says, oh no, we're not going to buy any more of those
because we don't know what they are.
So dumb.
$3 grand. Oh my! And they ran out of money. So all of the World War II relics from the 90-year-old widows aren't going to be melted down into manhole covers or whatever the hell they do with the firearms.
I've always suspected they take the good ones for themselves and throw the rest of them away. You know,
Wasn't that? Where was that? They had one of those events and they turned them into manhole covers. It was like, oh, look at what we're doing.
I don't know.
And somebody will post it after the show. They'll be like, oh, that was so and so. Can we talk a little bit about cars for a second? Because I read something hysterical on Motor Trend.
Sure.
I meant to post it, but I got busy and forgot. So Motor Trend tested the new all-electric F-150. You know, the one Joe Biden was bragging about? They tested it towing campers. They tested it with a small camper, a medium camper, and a large camper. Guess how far the lightest camper, 3,000 pounds, that's barely a pop-up. Guess how far they could tow it with the F-150 electric?
100 miles.
115.
Oh.
The 8,000 pound camper was 90 miles. So if you're going on a vacation, if you wanted to go across the country, you would have to stop 30 times at, probably 4 to 6 hours to charge up.
I bet that would be a logistical nightmare trying to find charging stations every 80 or 90 miles.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever seen the charging stations, but they're not convenient for someone pulling a trailer. Exactly. It's like nose in.
You can't use them with a trailer. Yeah.
So every time you stop, every 100 miles, you have to unhitch the trailer, drive the truck over, charge it up, then drive it back to the trailer.
Yeah. Well, people who buy in those things aren't going to be pulling trailers like that with them.
No, they're not. But you're sure as hell not going to pull a landscaping trailer with it either.
Well, you're also not going to load up the back with contractor equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Drive it somewhere.
And we do not have, and again, I don't have anything against electric cars. We need to work out the charging situation. You need to have more charging infrastructure and more electrical generation before we can have a discussion about it. And until then, they're a toy and nothing else.
Yep.
So
they're fine for a 2-seater commuter to your job and back home.
I read that and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I towed a 8,000 pound camper 300 or 400 miles. No problem. with my evil gas guzzling pickup truck.
And when you had to stop for gas, it was like a 10-minute thing.
Yep. Pull in, gas up, gone.
And the gas stations are set up for vehicles with trailers. Imagine that.
But yeah. Anyway, so what else is going on in the world? We have what's her name, Grenier there, who won't have to hear the national anthem for 9 years. So
good for her.
The WNBA player who went into Russia with narcotics and was surprised to find out that they don't value human rights the same way the United States does. Oops.
Well,
the WNBA estimates they could lose hundreds of dollars if she doesn't play.
I think Brittany Griner, whatever. I think she has assumed that she was above the law because she was a celebrity.
Right.
Nobody knows who you are in Russia, honey. Nobody cares.
Well, also, I guess
honestly, I don't feel bad. Like, you went to a different country, you broke the law, you got caught. Sorry, like
FAFO.
And the fact that they were talking, of doing this big like trade of like this terrorist guy who was what for a basketball player, for a woman's basketball player, like who cares?
This is not a political prisoner. This is not a journalist.
She hates this country. She's said it. She hates it. She takes the knee, right? Well,
yeah.
Won't have to hear the anthem for 9 years.
Congrats. Don't care.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, she can be back in the WNBA when she gets out in 9 years. I'm sure it'll still be around. And,
maybe.
What is Russian women's prison like, you think?
Can't be good.
I'm sure there's a Rule 34 for it.
Can't be good.
I'm sure.
Oh, you know what? I bet there's no trans women there.
Very unlikely to be impregnated by someone who identifies.
Well, just one of the guards.
Homosexuality is still kind of illegal in Russia. Didn't they have like this whole issue with homosexuality in Russia?
Last I heard, it was.
Yeah, that could be problematic for her too. Also,
oh yeah,
having been married to a woman and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, don't care. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if anybody else remembers the story. I don't even know the kid's name, but the one who was out vandalizing cars in Singapore and wound up getting his ass literally got his ass caned. It's like I'm sorry, the sympathy meter is firmly wedged on 0. None.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that under Clinton?
It was.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I just remember being absolutely dumbfounded that people cared about it. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you did something stupid, and you're going to pay the price. And why is that so? I guess it's that it is so shocking that is so discouraging. The fact. Good call, Alan. Yeah. That you are in a different country. You didn't bother to learn the rules. You did something that is illegal in your own country. This is under in any civilized area, vandalizing something that does not belong to you is a crime or otherwise against the code.
It's illegal in this country.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like he wore a shirt with a saying on it, which, okay, well, maybe, or, he was doing something on the wrong day or something you wouldn't jump out at you. It's like, no, you were going around breaking shit that wasn't yours.
Right.
That's wrong anywhere you are. Then the people are like, I can't believe they're going to cane him. I'm like, huh? Maybe you figure out what the hell you're, that's just it. The people weren't like, serves you right, you dumbass.
Well, there are a lot of people that
we
said
also
that.
live.
Yes.
Our judicial system really does not.
Yeah.
It plays around with what your penalties are, and
Maybe we should have canings.
they followed the law. Maybe. I bet you didn't
would
vandalize
settle.
any cars after that.
I would settle for, just actually putting bad people in jail and keeping them there, not just letting them go the next day. But, that apparently is too much to ask these days.
Well, unless you're in Florida.
Yeah, you know that boy who was murdered in Akron, Ohio recently.
The one where they killed him and then stole his car.
Yeah. That kid.
Yeah.
They're not pressing charges on those boys.
Huh?
Yeah. Did they say
they beat him to death?
Yeah, they beat him to death and then stole his car.
They're not pressing
they
charges.
Have said why.
And it's one of those things that this comes to a point where people are going to be like, well, guess they're not going to find a body. You keep doing this. You keep slapping criminals on the wrist and they keep getting away with it. They're going to get emboldened. And then eventually it's going to be, I don't know what happened to him. He just stopped coming around. And there's going to be a greener section in the backyard.
Or you're in Florida, where Governor DeSantis just fired a state prosecutor for saying he wasn't going to enforce the laws of Florida.
Yep.
I want to see that happen everywhere. I'm a big believer. I'm 100% behind the idea of prosecutorial discretion, but that's on an individual level. If there's always a reason not to prosecute a particular person for a particular thing. But when you stand up and say, I'm not going to enforce this law on anyone, you are violating your, I don't even know if they have an oath of office, but you're violating your, it's like you got hired to do your job and you stood up and told your boss, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
You'd get fired so quick. It's not even funny.
I have to correct myself. They are indicting these boys on lesser charges.
Yeah.
So,
you said they stole his car, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably something about violating
involuntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, and assault. So, assault and involuntary manslaughter. I mean, I think their belief is that this kid who got murdered started it because he was shooting at them with a paintball gun. Water bead blaster. It's not even paintball. It's a water bead blaster. So that
which are
led to a
illegal
fight,
in New York.
and then
that's one of those TikTok things.
Yeah. But I don't think you're allowed to murder somebody after about that.
No.
You're not.
Yeah. So then they beat him to death and stole his car. As you do.
It's a little hard to, I mean, it's one thing if the guy gets out of the car, you cold cock him and he hits his head on the ground and dies. And it's like, oh shit, what the hell? It's another thing to keep beating him and then take his car. There's ends of the spectrum, and it's not like it was oh God, we don't know what happened. It's pretty clear if you keep beating someone until they are no longer moving to the point where you could just take their car.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't accidental.
Yeah.
Race might have been involved, The boy who died was white.
Aha, that's why we haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another.
I think I've only heard of it because I'm from Ohio,
Yeah. There was another case, I want to say it was in New York, where a group of teenagers, like 13 and 14, beat an elderly man almost to death with a traffic cone. And I think they're not being prosecuted.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? I mean, we had a whole summer of Black Lives Matter and Antifa like burning down cities and killing people, and nothing happened to them. So
January 6th.
That's where we're at.
They got mansions and millions of dollars.
That's right.
That crime pays good.
Everybody better buckle
On the
up.
plus
It's not
side,
gonna get
gas
any better.
prices are going down. Everyone praised Joe Biden. I think that's my favorite. That's my absolute favorite. Is you had all these people and the Democrat. What is it? What is that? There's a Twitter account about Democrats and their L's or something like that, where they just basically take and post 2 tweets from the same person, often only weeks apart, that are like completely opposite. And you know, it's
I think it's defiant L's.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, where it was like the president has no control over the price of gas. Learn some economics. Blah, 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 blah. You should thank Joe Biden for the 50 cents a gallon that gas prices just went down. Again, I don't expect consistency, but it's fun to laugh at them when they're so blatantly hypocritical. You know?
Yes.
Remember when George Bush made gas prices go up to $4 a gallon to enrich his oil buddies? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's and we've also been changing definitions, right? So
yes,
we have you can't call it we did the don't say recession thing, or it's it's like
all of those economic textbooks are wrong.
Yeah,
it's not.
And they went in and edited with a Wikipedia article on recession to remove the one where it says 2/4 of GDP decline.
Right.
You know, it just.
I think people are getting wise to their bullshit, though.
Yes, they are.
People are starting to notice that, wow, like they keep changing the rules and they keep changing definitions and they keep lying to us, provably lying, but they keep saying these things and wanting us to just keep going along with them.
Yeah.
And you can call it whatever the hell you want, but when I go to BJ's and the same 4-pack of Diet Coke that cost me $4, like not even a year ago, is now $9. People notice that. You know, you notice when stuff. Yeah, I'm drinking a lot more water these days. But you know, people notice that, and you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the Queen of England. It doesn't matter when your grocery bill has doubled in 6 months. You know, when steak is $10 a pound and chicken's $8 a pound.
Yeah.
I read an interesting story about chicken. And it was like this this story, and of course it was like, and it was in the news, and it was kind of like the New York Times were all like, they were like, oh my God, like people are resorting to buying whole chickens now because of price inflation. Oh no. Whole chickens. Whatever will we do with them? I don't know. You know, it was like the article was like, oh, people are buying whole chickens instead of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and they're cooking them themselves. And, it's because they're way cheaper.
Yep.
Way cheaper. Also, it tastes better. But
can you?
I can't find the article now, but the article was all like, oh, whole chickens. People are resorting to buying whole chickens now because of the cost.
Can you imagine people that survived the Great Depression in the 30s that are like seeing headlines like that where it's like, oh my God, people are buying whole chickens because parts are too expensive, and they're just like, I can't fucking believe you people.
Yeah.
We were eating shoe leather and rocks.
And we were happy.
And you're complaining that chicken's too expensive. So you have to buy a whole one instead of the parts you usually get.
Yeah.
when you can find it.
Yeah, but whoever wrote that article probably never even seen a whole chicken.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
probably-
Well, I mean,
probably
there's a
don't
whole
even-
generation of people who think that meat doesn't. I mean, they don't realize meat comes from animals at all.
Right.
They just think it's a
Grows
thing that
on-
you buy in the grocery store.
Right.
I mean,
Grows on the
Grows on
styrofoam trays.
I mean,
Yeah.
buying a whole chicken is close as most people ever come to, like, you know, dealing with the carcass of an animal, like, you know, the whole thing.
I'm throwing out buckets of chipmunks.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, if all you ever do is buy
You
your
eat
meat,
chipmunks?
you know,
There's not.
packaged in the store.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
you're not going to buy a whole cow. You're not going to slaughter a pig in your driveway, you know. And so, you know,
What if you want to?
It
yeah,
may
but
come to that. I don't know.
one of those frozen chickens, you know, that's
Yeah.
and
It has
how
like
many
the bag
and
of parts on the inside. Oh my god.
yeah, and when you
Giblets.
go to the store, you don't see, I mean, the bag of chicken is like, the whole chicken is like over here somewhere. The big aisle along the wall is all like packages of chicken breasts and chicken thighs and, you know, wings and all that kind of stuff. You don't find a whole chicken in that section. It's all
Great. Now I'm hungry. Thanks, Alan.
You want some fried chicken, Jay?
Oh, hell yeah. I like actually boneless, skinless, but that's because I'm weird.
Yeah, but you really want some fried chicken.
Here, go for some hate chicken.
Everybody loves fried chicken.
Chick-fil-A. Only because it makes people upset. One of the best descriptions I heard of the current state of affairs is, imagine that you had a Chick-fil-A. You know how Chick-fil-A, they're friendly, they're efficient, you know, they go out of their way to do stuff for you. It's just a great experience. So things going so well that you fire the manager at Chick-fil-A and bring in the guy from McDonald's. That's what happened to the United States of America.
Yeah, pretty
Although
much.
I think it's more like, I don't even know. I can't even come up with an analogy that would be suitable for what's going on right now.
Remember when you used to wonder if it was intentional or just stupidity?
No. But point taken.
Yeah. I think those days are over.
It's pretty much all malice.
I think it's
these
intentional.
days.
Yeah. It's all intentional.
Absolutely.
Because they've realized they can
Yeah.
at this point.
Yep.
They realize they can, and also I think they realize it's their last hope for maintaining control.
Yeah, if they don't do it now, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
They got one chance. And honestly, I think that ship has sailed. They fucked it up.
I don't know. They did. I think they did too much too soon, personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they, and we keep saying they, but who is they? But I think they have felt desperate because they know what's coming. They know that people are waking up, and people are going, wait a minute. So you're pushing these vaccines on us, but they don't actually work. But you want us to believe they work. But there's all these other side effects, and people like mysteriously, suddenly, unexplainably dying. Like, what could possibly be the cause? I don't know.
Immediately follow it up with my body, my choice, my body, my choice. We're not supposed to see that.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not supposed to put two and two together. That the same people who are like, you have to get vaccinated for the good of the blah, 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 immediately, without the slightest hint of remorse or even consciousness, my body, my choice. How could you force someone to have a medical procedure?
Well, it's just like during the summer of love, Jay, when they just got through locking down the whole country, but then, if you want to go riot, well, that's okay.
And the CDC came out and said,
we have the monkeypox thing now.
Oh yeah,
we have monkeypox now, and they're not locking down the gay orgies, are they? No,
nope.
No.
They're going out of their way to say, "Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's not just gay." You know, because God forbid we have actual science rather than making people feel good about themselves.
Well, it's like 99% of the people that get it are gay, and the 1% that aren't gay were with somebody that was gay. So
yeah.
You do the math.
But if you don't blow it out of proportion to make everyone think they're going to die from it, how on earth are we going to get mail-in voting that allows us to alter the election the way we want?
Well, the good news is if you don't go to a gay orgy, you're probably safe from monkeypox. So that'll be fun. But wear your mask and get your vaccine.
Wear your mask. Wear what, a butt mask?
No, did you see the video of the guy online with the monkeypox all over his chin? Like he had monkeypox like all over his face. And I was like, okay.
What were you doing?
Not even,
we know exactly what
I'm going to wipe that mental image. Thank you very much. Jesus.
Yeah. The thing that irritates me about the monkeypox are the kids that are getting it. And you're just like, fucking groomer assholes.
No, it doesn't happen, Alan. We're told by reliable by top men that it doesn't happen.
It'll stay up on Rumble.
Yeah. Again, they were able to find the donors of the names of the donors of the people who gave money to the truckers in Canada, but we can't see Ghislaine Maxwell's client list.
Right.
You know, like, hold on a minute. You know, let's stop and think about this for a second. We know that there were underaged people. We don't know that they were all women being procured for the rich and powerful.
Yeah, that's the whole point of putting her on trial. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
If it was adults who fully consented, you would have literally nothing. So,
right.
But without the clients, they wouldn't be procuring. So why hasn't this come out? I think I think we can guess who's on that list, can't we?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still illegal to have sex with a minor, right?
Yes.
Maybe.
And you have a list of people who had sex with a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ought to
also,
be
isn't there
out
that law you can't move people, minors?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's just any people.
You can't transport people across state line for lewd.
You can fly them out of the country,
for
though.
Various purposes.
Yeah.
I think they should be distributing a ton of wakazashis and just do the right thing. We can publish the list, or you can do the right thing. Or if you want to be more modern, a firearm with a single round. Here you go, do the right thing.
The Mann Act.
The Mann Act, yes.
Mann Act. Thank you.
Transporting people across state lines for immoral purposes.
Immoral. That's the word. Yeah.
And
that's like selling little girls to politicians.
Yeah. That's just immoral.
And Hollywood actors. The important people.
Yes.
Princes. CEOs.
Yes.
You know whose name isn't on that list?
Who?
Trump.
Biden? Oh.
Trump's name's not on that list.
He just likes to... yes, exactly.
If it was, we'd all know it.
We'd all know by now, yeah.
That's very true.
Sure.
Same with DeSantis and Cruz.
Yep.
Because they hate them, don't they?
Oh, yes.
And Cruz is...
Well, I know that Biden's name is up there.
He just wants to...
The girls they had were too old for him. No,
yes.
They're not his type. Yeah. They're too old.
Too old.
He doesn't shower with them.
Right. Anyway.
The Thing. The Thing. Someone had a compilation of Biden's stumbles. It's just a stutter. God. It's a stutter. I think that was
it's not a
stutter. It's a stutter.
I've known people with stutters. It's not a stutter.
I know a lot of people with stutters.
brain damage.
None of them.
No.
I also know a lot of people with dementia / Alzheimer's, and they do exactly that. The thing, my opponent, George Bush, I'm like, wrong election, sir.
Yeah. It's a little frightening.
But
Did you see that video that came out of him where he's all tweaked out? His eyes were all.
It looks like a shark.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
talking?
like
And he didn't blink the entire time. What was that?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Who cares
Whatever
about
they're
what he was talking
doping
about,
him with,
holy
it's
shit.
very clear. He's like that.
Yeah.
He was like that in both of the debates too. He
Yeah.
came out
Oh,
and he was
yeah.
like all black like a shark, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
they hit you with something. Didn't they?
Yeah, his pupils were all blown out.
Oh
He had
my
no
God.
color in his eyes at all.
Obviously, he went into Hunter's special stash.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Gosh.
They're talking about doing a controlled demolition on Hunter now. They're saying they're going to try to get Hunter indicted on some small charge that'll keep it from splattering out on anyone else and put him away. So then they can go, oh, that's just Hunter. That's old news.
Yeah.
He's in jail. Nobody cares about that anymore. So they'll get him on some tax thing or some.
Yeah. And that my prediction is it's going to be a non-payment of child support.
Well,
except that reminds people the baby he had with the stripper.
Right.
Yeah.
He went a long time. Probably isn't paying child support now.
Yeah. Well, they've also got him on taxes because tax crap and
you don't pay taxes on bribes.
Unregistered foreign agent and crap like that. But they'll do it so it doesn't blow back on any
right.
The 51 intelligence directors that swore up and down it was Russian disinformation, and the newspapers that swore it was disinformation, and everybody that said it was nothing. They'll be all like, "Oh, yeah, that's old news. We don't care about that."
And it'll be well, he's in jail. What more do you want? The poor president, his son is in jail.
Right.
That exactly. Brings up an interesting. I mean, that's definitely probable, especially if it's something boring like taxes. Like he made a mistake, and that you can almost see them, using it against whoever runs. It's like, well, they're so scrupulously honest that Hunter messed up his taxes and went to jail for it. But by the same token, what are the optics of the person you've referred to as the smartest man is in jail for whatever?
Oh, Jay, that's old news.
Yeah,
don't keep bringing that up. That's a good
point.
It's been dealt with.
Aren't the candidates' children off limits?
Yes.
Yeah, just ask Eric Trump.
When they're children. I think they're off limits when they're children, when they're adults.
Yes.
When they're adults paying 10% to the big guy.
When they're Democrat children. Let's be realistic here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the important
Matt Gaetz. Did you see the Matt Gaetz? He was doing some sort of hearing, blah blah blah, and he actually asked the person answering questions, do you refer to Joe Biden as the big guy? He actually asked him.
Nice.
It's on. You can look it up. Yeah, it was like a great moment, and the guy just kind of was like, "Oh, yeah." It was good.
I like.
We're starting to get like a crop of Republicans who are starting to like not give a shit, which is about damn time.
Yeah,
seriously.
I like Ted Cruz's was I think he was grilling that guy, the FBI director, about the symbols of domestic terrorism that Project Veritas released, and so it's the Gadsden flag and stuff like that. And he's one of them. He's like one of them's like the Gonzalez flag. Come and take it. And he goes, and you think that's a domestic terrorism? And he pulls off his boot and he slams it on the table, and it's got the Gadsden flag on his boot. And he goes, "Well, I'm here to tell you right now." I wear this every day in the Capitol.
I'm surprised the headlines weren't Ted Cruz domestic terrorist.
Yeah, Ted Cruz admits he's a domestic terrorist.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm quite frankly, that is the most surprising thing out of all of this.
Well, he just did it today.
I'm sure that's in some sort of Twitter comment somewhere. I'm sure somebody has put it out there.
Cruz just, there was something else about Ted Cruz, and I can't remember it because my brain is tapioca.
That's fine.
Anyway.
Show and tell.
Do you have the show and tell, Jay?
I have a show and tell. Alan, do you have a show and tell?
I do not.
SMH my head.
It's you, Jay.
It's me. This is I got a present from my daughter went on vacation. She went we had to split our trip up to Mass this year. But I got another little personalized pocket
it's got your name on it.
I
love it.
From Cape Cod.
Cool.
Oh my god.
Which is where we used to.
Was that like at a gift shop?
Absolutely. It was
where you can pick your name.
Yes, exactly. They're on like a little, rotating thing. But I have a whole series of these now. I forget. I think the first one was Luray Caverns out in Central Virginia.
Nice.
And it's become
it's like your version of spoons, right?
So yeah, exactly. I get little, Swiss Army knives. So, but it has a corkscrew. So
that one looks like it's got a lot of stuff on it. It's got scissors and
it's got a fair number of things that if pressed one could use. If I have a fish to scale, I can. But it's just I'm touched.
I don't think I've ever found my name printed on anything ever. I know Brita.
Alan? I thought Alan you might be able to find. I mean,
no, it's always never.
It's always ALLEN. Is that the problem?
Yeah.
You think, especially after Alan Shepard,
still wasn't that
Alan Greenspan, and
they only do the popular names. They don't do the
Jay. Jay's not a popular name, Alan.
Sure, it is Jay.
Yeah, name 3 people named Jay other than me.
I'm sure there
are. Somewhere there are. In some other country we've never heard of.
That's right.
Rita, do you have a show and tell?
I do not.
Oh, we are.
However,
we are awful.
I know. I have a show recommendation.
Okay.
And Alan recommended it to me, and I was kind of like, okay, I'll watch it. And I think, Jay, you would like to watch it with your daughter.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued.
It's on Amazon Prime. And it is called Paper Girls.
And
it's a sci-fi time travel thing. I guess I was talking about it to Mike tonight, and it's kind of like Stranger Things. Like, it has that same kind of because the main characters, they were from 1988, and then there's time traveling, all over the place. But so it kind of has that Stranger Things kind of vibe, like where the kids are riding their bikes around and doing their own thing and, whatnot. And
Feral children.
I think yeah. But I think I liked it better than Stranger Things because it was girls. I know that are girls in Stranger Things, but the main characters are guys, And so it kind of it was a little bit more nostalgic for me. But there's giant fighting robots, Jay, and like time travel and stuff. And the characters are really good, and A+ show.
and
Alrighty then.
not to do spoilers, but one of the cool things about the show is they meet their future selves in various situations, and they are all profoundly disappointed in how they turned out.
Yeah.
So
just like real life.
Yeah, just like real life. Exactly. It's a good show.
It is a really good show. Anyway.
All righty. We have a recommendation.
I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I've been binge watching the James Bond movies in order.
In order.
And I have two things to say. One is Roger Moore is far worse than I ever remembered. Because you got to remember, a lot of times, the only time I ever saw those movies was like on TV, in the 70s.
Yeah.
The Monday night movie or whatever the hell it was. And Roger Moore does not hold up at all. Sean Connery holds up great.
I'm going to have to watch one of them just because.
There's one that is the first. Is it the first Roger Moore? Is from like 1971. Wow. Hang on, I'll get it right here. Live and Let Die. 1973. Horrible blaxploitation movie. I swear to God, it was cringy to watch because every black character was a pimp or a hoe. They all called Bond honky. They were wearing like platform shoes and pimp hats, and it was just the most god awful thing you ever saw. And yeah, and the premise, I don't know if anybody remembers the premise of Live and Let Die, which has one of the best themes ever written by Paul McCartney, but probably the worst Bond movie of all of them. The plot was there's a heroin kingpin wants to give away 2 tons of heroin to drive all the other drug dealers out of the market and then corner the market on heroin in the U.S. Okay. And it's a black guy selling drugs to all the other black people.
So it's the CIA.
The whole thing is it's just awful.
It's one of those things that like Roger Moore was James Bond through my entire youth.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, was it Timothy Dalton, I think, but that was like the
late 80s.
Late 80s. So like growing up,
it was James Bond.
Every James Bond movie was Roger Moore. So it's like it's like I've imprinted on Roger Moore as James Bond. So I like reflexively like, no, Roger Moore is fine. And it's like when you watch it, you're like, oh dear, dear God,
it's really
terrible.
But the early ones with Sean Connery hold up well. The surprising thing was that on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the George Lazenby actually was a really good James Bond. It didn't have any of the gadgets and gimmicks and stuff like that. It was a straight up spy thing, and he gets married at the end, and that's when his wife dies from Blofeld's henchman. So, and that comes back later in the
and then series. He kills people with a pencil. No, that's John Wick. Sorry.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that how good the Sean Connery Bonds from the 60s hold up, and how awful literally awful the Roger Moore ones from the 70s were. Just cringy,
how could you say
terrible.
that? Octopussy and it's just pussy galore. Although I think that one was Connery.
That was Sean Connery. Yeah.
But
yeah, it was Sean Connery.
I do have to admit, Casino Royale with Daniel Craig.
Yes.
As far as what Bond really was, was basically just a mercenary. And,
yes.
It got kind of the grittiness that, again, like Roger Moore is to James Bond what Adam West is to Batman. Let's be honest here.
Yes.
It's a
You're
caricature.
Right. Yeah.
It's, the popularized, the pop culture James Bond, not the gritty James Bond of the novels.
Right.
And like you look at Batman at the Dark Knight, and it's not Adam West. It's it's not Michael Keaton either, or any of the other Val Kilmer or friggin' George Clooney or. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Go back and watch them if you can find them. They're.
I think we actually have the DVDs somewhere, which is another thing I've started doing with all of the streaming and whatnot bullshit, where they can just decide this is wrong thing and take it away, is a hard copy.
Yeah.
I want an actual disc, or not VHS, but a DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. But just I've got most of the Mel Brooks stuff for that reason. I'm like, because Blazing Saddles,
that'll disappear. Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yep.
Anywho,
since we were talking about shows.
Yeah. And Roger Moore.
I second Brita's recommendation for Paper Girls. You wouldn't think a show about a gaggle of 12-year-old girls from 1988 would be all that interesting. And I didn't give it much thought, except, Amazon was pushing the hell out of it. So I watched the first episode. I was like, oh, this is good. And then I saw the robot at the end.
I was afraid that the show would be kind of, I was afraid that the show, always having to repeat myself because of the delay. It is so annoying. I was afraid the show would be geared for a teenage audience, but it is not.
Nope.
I mean, teenagers can watch it and probably enjoy it, but it also is, enjoyable for everybody, I think.
I have to wonder, for a teenager today, could they even identify the world of the 1980s? Where it's
Nope.
You don't have all the music you've ever wanted on a phone. You had this giant clunky thing that contained one.
Oh, that's in the show, Jay.
Yeah. Just it's
that's in the show.
That world is just so alien to. Like I said, I mean, I've commented. I remember ages and ages ago, my son asking me what was Google like when you were in high school? And I'm like,
non-existent.
They didn't have Google. I'm like, there was no. And his eyes went wide. He was like,
we went to the library and used the periodical index.
Exactly. How did you find stuff? And it's like, well, you had to go to the library and look through the card catalog or the periodicals. What?
Yep.
It was like I described walking on the moon. The fact that if you had a report to do for school, you would have to go and we had encyclopedias, because everyone had encyclopedias. That's what you did,
Right.
And you had that one article, and that might lead you to something else that you'd have to go research at the library. But if it was anything more than a page, you were spending time in the library. You couldn't just call it up and have 100 sources at your fingertips.
Yep. Yeah, you had to go find it.
And God for it's like. I mean, we had to go through. Do you remember writing English papers? You wrote it out, literally wrote everything out.
Yes.
And then if it was a big one, you would type it. You'd write it out, then you'd type it, and that would be your rough draft. And then you would type it again for the final.
And pray you didn't make a mistake.
Yes.
I could still hear the when you some of the later typewriters where they had the built-in whiteout strips. So if you made a mistake, you could backspace. And
I didn't have one of those.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is old people bitching at clouds.
Yep.
That's
That's
we're
exactly
yelling
what
at
it is.
clouds right
Yeah.
now. You know, and
Yep.
but it's interesting that with Stranger Things and now Paper Girls, and even like
Mhm.
look at, I'll go so far as to say Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
There is an undercurrent of longing for that simpler time. You know, when your life wasn't ruled by social media, when it wasn't all about TikToks, when you were doing things for the sake of doing them, not for Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
everything today is documented and it's online, it's on your Facebook page, it's on this, it's on that. But you're tailoring your life to that. You're taking pictures of your
right.
food, you're not enjoying your food. You know, you go on vacation and it's 9,000 pictures of where you are, but you're not seeing it. You're not experiencing it. I think there's kind of like a backlash that, you know, maybe we should just do things for the sake of doing them. Anyway, that's your little philosophical sermon for the day.
Yep.
And you wind up with a photo album of shitty Polaroids.
You know what though? That photo album of shitty Polaroids is a lot, you know what, in a lot of ways better than the album of 30,000 photos I never look at on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Did you hear it?
You have Katie Dids.
Katie Dids.
Yeah.
Ah.
Not crickets. It's Katie Dids.
Not crickets.
Yeah, we don't get those here.
Anyway, that means it's bedtime.
Yep.
Oh, I just heard it.
Good night.
We had the big cicada thing last year, but there's like a handful left over. And I'm like, you the lazy motherfuckers, aren't you? You're like, no. I get 18 years, motherfucker. Yeah, that's like,
You missed the party.
Like, guys, really? You overslept? Serious?
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
All
right, y'all. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Night, y'all.
Bye.
Okay. Good night.
Nope.